Well, it is hard to believe, but the Black Friday season is already upon us, and we have learned officially from Nintendo as of today what their Black Friday 2025 offerings will be, and this is on the retail front, so we will make a separate video once we get the eShop information, which some of these games seem like they probably will be discounted on eShop as well, but this is very much when you can walk into a Walmart, Best Buy, that kind of thing, and pick up some of these games at a discounted price. And I will say right at the beginning of the video, if you're somebody who thinks that you're waiting for a sale on the Switch 2 to hit for Black Friday, we're not going to see that. We might see some individual retailers where they give you like a gift card if you pick up a Switch 2 from them. But in true Nintendo fashion, it may be multiple years before we see any kind of real notable discount on the Switch 2 lineup of things. Even first-party Switch 2 software is technically not part of this year's Black Friday sale. That said, there is a lot of evergreen Switch 1 games that if you don't already own them, many of these have been updated to take advantage of the power of the Switch 2, and they're at their lowest price ever in some cases, as low as $29.99 for first-party Nintendo titles as part of this sale. And in all reality, if you keep up with sales and deals throughout the year, you know that that is some of the best pricing we ever see Nintendo offer on anything first party. So we have a lot to break down and discuss. I'm currently on vacation in Cancun, but had to make this video for you guys whenever it's dropped. So I'm on a mobile setup. If my mic sounds a little bit different, that's why. Hit the like button for me so I have a good time on vacation. I will still have content coming for you guys all week, but I do want to hop right over to the Business Wire, where you can see the following article, which outlines Nintendo announces holiday offers for Black Friday and Cyber Monday 2025. Offers include savings on The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, select amiibos, Samsung microSD Express cards, and more this holiday season. And you have, continuing on down the article here, the outline of what they're doing with Switch 2, it's just nothing different than what we've expected, and nothing different than really what we've had, other than you have a new game option to choose from, with being either Mario Kart World Bundle, which is going to be $4.99 US, of course $4.49 available for the base console only. That one's technically being discontinued, but you can still find it as of right now, and you could probably find it through the beginning part of the Black Friday season, but they will be shifting to Pokemon Legends ZA as the bundle pack-in game, available for that $4.49 price point. So if you're buying a Switch 2 anyway, get the bundle, pick a game that you want to get because you're going to save money. Pokemon Legends ZA Switch 2 edition is $70 by itself, so you're saving $20 on that one, or Mario Kart World $80 by itself, so you're saving $30 if you do go with the bundle on that. Now it outlines some different stuff between Bonanza, Tears of the Kingdom, and all the different upgrades you can enjoy on the Switch 2, but we really have to look at the actual discounts. So buy Nintendo Store and the Nintendo Switch eShop on Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch starting on November 20th through December 3rd. That is the date for the digital portion of the sales. Will feature holiday offers on select games. Now, what we're more including in this video, because this is what's officially announced as of now for Nintendo, beginning November 23rd, select retailers, including both official Nintendo US stores, will offer physical versions of Nintendo Switch games, such as the following. So we'll go through all of these, but just note that this is retailers, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, all of that kind of stuff that we're covering as far as these official price reductions. Maybe Amazon this year as well. We'll see if Nintendo's back on good enough terms with them to get the deals going with them. But Princess Peach Showtime, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Kirby's Return to Dreamland, suggested retail price of $39.99. So these are the games that are going to run you $40. These are the steals, though. At least one. I mean, I'm going to go into these games individually in just a moment, but Super Mario Odyssey, Nintendo Switch Sports, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, and Splatoon 3 at $29.99 each. That's kind of crazy. It's some of the lowest prices we've seen these games sold for, especially Mario Odyssey. Granted, it's like a Switch 1 launch year game, but The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Super Mario Odyssey, and Splatoon 3 all have free Nintendo Switch 2 updates, so you can enjoy smoother gameplay at higher resolutions when playing them on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, we also have a round of discounts for the Amiibo. The Legend of Zelda ones are interesting to me. That said, these Amiibo are crazy expensive now, so I would say that if you're somebody that collects them, great, you get $10 off. If not, I don't blame you for skipping them. I'm skipping most all Amiibo nowadays, but then you have a really important sale for new Switch 2 owners, because the San Francisco store, the New York store, and select retailers are going to offer $20 off the Samsung microSD Express official Nintendo card, which you don't need the Nintendo version, but you do need a microSD Express card to work for expanded storage and Switch 2, and they are doing $20 off the top of that right now, which you can get the actual 256 gig version pretty cheap already, between like $50 and $70 if I'm not mistaken. So maybe between like 30 and 50 now to double your storage size in the Switch 2. That's something you will want to do at some point if you own a Switch 2, because let me tell you, these base storage do not last long. I will tell you that right now. Now, the graphic in question that they've provided here, they have sales and deals now from $11.29, starting at $29.99 MSRP at select Nintendo retailers, or really participating retailers. So Walmart, Best Buy, maybe Amazon. I don't think we have the confirmation on that yet, but we're going to go through this one by one. Nintendo Switch Sports at $29.99 is not a bad pickup. It's normally a $50 regular retail game. This is literally Wii Sports, but brought to the modern day with Nintendo Switch era gameplay. I would just say I did not get into this that much, but if you have like more casual family over and you want to have a good party game to play, especially if you have nostalgia and love for Nintendo Switch Sports, or excuse me, for Wii Sports from back in the day, and you want to play that in a more modern way, this is a good collection of different mini games you can hop into. They have updated it and added new sports like basketball that weren't there right at launch, and at a $29.99 price point, I definitely think it's worth owning in your collection. Mario Odyssey, I cannot drive home enough how if you don't own this game already, it's peak 3D platforming experience at $29.99. You just cannot beat that. It has a free Switch 2 edition upgrade where it does take advantage of the better resolution, HDR, and all that different stuff that the Switch 2 offers. So again, can't stress it enough. If you're picking up a Switch 2 for somebody who doesn't own the Switch 1, or you just never got around to picking up Mario Odyssey and you want to play through it for the first time on the Switch 2, or even if you're just hopping into the Switch 1 ecosystem, like, you're not going to see this game at $29.99 again until something like this time next year. So definitely do not sleep on this one if you don't already own it. It is a huge asset to have in your library at $29.99. Kind of crazy pricing. Even though it's older, you just can't stress enough that we don't see Nintendo discount games like this. Super Mario and the Thousand Year Door. This is, of course, the HD remaster of the GameCube era game. Now, this is a Mario RPG style game, so it plays very differently than a 3D platformer like Mario Odyssey. It does have a lot of different, real-time action response times where you have to like hit A at the right time, or whichever button on screen, you have to line it up just right. I really enjoyed my time with this game. Even if you're not traditionally as big of a fan of turn-based RPG games, this one plays really fun, engaging, real-time action events as mentioned, fun story throughout, looks and runs great. I really think we still need to get a Switch 2 update for it to take advantage of like 60 FPS, which it could absolutely do, but it is one of those that does not support that at this point in time. Regardless, it runs and looks great at 30 FPS and really had fun with my time on it. This is another one that at that $29.99 price point, instead of the 60, just pick it up if you don't already own it. I mean, we're not going to see it go on sale for that anytime soon after this, and I think it's a steal at that $29.99 MSRP. Splatoon 3 is a game that has a huge active online community behind it, and if you like third-person action-adventure shooters, but more cartoon-based, obviously you're spraying paint all over at different players and all over the map in some cases, depending on what type of game mode you're playing. Also, recently a free content update for Nintendo Switch 2 to take advantage of better visuals. I believe they may have added some stuff in as well. I'm not huge into the Splatoon community or anything like that, but I do think that they may have added some additional content with the last update as well. If you don't own it, $30, you just can't beat that price and opportunity to pick it up. Now we get into the $39.99 games on screen, and I will say some of these make more sense than others. I really enjoyed my time with Princess Peach Showtime. It is a $50 regular MSRP. It's available for $39, so it's not as good of a discount. You're literally saving $10 off of this. It is fun though. It's a 2D action adventure platformer slash hack and slash, and maybe in some cases like a kind of puzzle solving game, because depending on what costume you're playing as Peach as, the gameplay changes very differently. In some cases you are like a detective and you're actually going through trying to solve a murder mystery. In other cases, or maybe not a murder mystery, but you're solving some kind of mystery. I think it was tied to that, but regardless, it's slipping my mind now, but you go through all types of different stages. In some cases, you're like superhero Peach, and you're actually more of a crazy, overpowered, like space style suit on Peach, attacking everything on screen. Then you're a sword fighter Peach in certain stages, ice skater on different ones. Like, there's a lot of variety of gameplay here, and it is fun. I just found that after 10-15 hours range of playing, things do get kind of repetitive, and it's not the longest game out there in terms of total content wise, but a fun one to pick up nonetheless if you don't already own it, and it's at a $39.99 price. Not quite as good of a deal as everything else we're talking about here, though. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, that's another one that's normally $60, and it is discounted down to $39.99. So I think this is a good opportunity for Donkey Kong fans to pick up this one. If you know anything about classic 2D era SNES Donkey Kong Country games, this is like that, but brought into more of a modern era with 3D models and just newer style visuals in general, but very much still a core Donkey Kong Country game through and through. And it, of course, has some cool, more in like 3D environmental effects where you go into the background at certain times, you're in the foreground at other times, and, really a blast from the past. If you liked the SNES level Donkey Kong Country games, you got to own this at some point in time. And at $39.99, it's definitely a better opportunity to pick it up than its $60 regular retail, and just can't recommend it enough for Donkey Kong fans. Now from there, you have Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which I will say right now, if you like Link's Awakening or any of the 2D era Zelda remasters we've seen, or even just from all the way back in the day, if you played the originals, this plays like that at its core, but Zelda is very much the protagonist this time around, and so the gameplay is very different. There are elements and sections where you play kind of like a Link style character when Zelda powers up and stuff, but for the most part, you're actually summoning the enemies that you've killed to actually attack for you. So it's a very different strategy in how you're used to progressing through a 2D Zelda game. And it's really cool because they actually included more of the progression style of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in this game, where you can go to different dungeons and different orders. It's not totally open world, but it has an open element where you get to choose your path of like 3 different dungeons at a time, or the first 2 you can choose in which order you want to go through. But tons of content in this game. I probably spent 60, 70 hours going through it and getting close to 100% run. I absolutely loved my time with this and would highly recommend it at a $39.99 price point as opposed to the $60. It's worth it for $60 in my opinion, especially if you're a Zelda fan. But honestly, at that $39.99, definitely don't sleep on this and pick it up if you don't already own it. Luigi's Mansion 3 is in that same breath. It's a little bit older game than Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, but it looks visually beautiful on the Switch. If you like puzzle, action, adventure games, spooky themed, and now we have all the Luigi's Mansion games playable on the Switch 2 with NSO for GameCube supported. This is a must own, in my opinion, in any Switch owner's collection. And it does not have a Switch 2 edition update, but I think it may get one day with how Nintendo's doing some of these content updates this generation. And I just think that this is a really good opportunity to pick it up at $40. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This is a Wii era game, but HD remastered for Nintendo Switch. And this is one that, Kirby games are simpler in nature. It's a 2D action adventure side scroller, 3D character models, obviously, but more 2D as far as the progression and stuff. But a lot of fun, way more simple in difficulty. Like, you're not going to necessarily die over and over again progressing through this one or anything like that. And it's actually supports up to 4-player co-op, so it might be a fun one to go through with your family and friends, and kind of a nice couch co-op game that even more casual gamers can enjoy. Not the best discount out of all of the games we've talked about on this list, but I do think that it is one that if you're a Kirby fan in general, you should definitely take a second look at. And now the only other thing that I'm going to quickly switch to and mention on screen is this $20 discount once again on the microSD Express card, the official Nintendo Samsung version of it. $20 off is going to be a good opportunity to pick that up, because with GameKeep cards and everything else and how big the file sizes are, 50, 60, 70 gigabytes in some cases for some of these Switch 2 titles, only having 256 available on the base storage, this is one you need to have at some point in time, and it has to be microSD Express to work with the Switch 2. So that's what we have right now in terms of the retail partnerships for Nintendo and their discounts for Black Friday 2025. But I will say we are going to see eShop sales and deals revealed at some point. So again, get subscribed for that if you're not already. We'll make a follow-up video as soon as that stuff drops. Let me know in the comments down below if you're picking up any of these different discounts in 2025, if you're impressed with the lineup of what Nintendo offered this year, or if there's a lot more to be desired for you personally. Sound off in the comments down below regardless. So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.